Hey guys, welcome to Contest Prep University. I'm Joe Klemczewski with Adam Atkinson. We're going to start a new series, which is pretty broadly titled Hormones. But interestingly, I think as we as coaches and bodybuilders and clients talk about hormones, we kind of mean the same things. But we do want to give you a little bit of background, understanding what these chemical messengers are. And I think it's going to be best if we break them up into what they actually do, because we typically think of, oh, my hormones are a mess, I'm not losing body fat, or my hormones are so low, I can't keep lean body mass. But the first thing that ever happens, as soon as you go into a calorie deficit, the biggest hormones affected are insulin and leptin. One in kind of a good way, one in not such a good way. And that is what really drives hunger, because that's your cue. So this whole first segment, I just want you to think about hunger. I want you to think about starting a diet, getting in a calorie deficit, and how we can mitigate those hormonal effects so you just feel more comfortable. So the first thing, Adam, that happens, of course, is leptin, which is secreted by body fat cells, is now all of a sudden giving us a signal to be hungry, hungry, hungry. We need, we're losing, volume in these body fat cells. We need more. And at the same time, insulin is coming down, which is the storage hormone, and glucagon is rising. So those released from the pancreas. And so you're looking for alternative energy sources, which of course will be, glycogen in the body and then hopefully a higher percentage of body fat. But this all goes just down to hunger mitigation. And I'm going to say it's kind of easy. I mean, there's nothing magical you're going to do with these hormones other than what we already know. So let's just go through some of those basics. I mean, somebody says, Adam, coach, I'm starving. What should I do? What are you going to have them check?
Yeah. So with this, depending on how bad hunger is, I might actually have them test blood glucose or how they're feeling. We want to make sure that they're, not waking up below 70, or even at any point during the day. I actually made a really good post about two athletes I just gotten from a coach who just said it was normal to feel dizzy all the time. And, when this is a sport where you need to push, obviously. I find with my athletes, the more we try to trick ourselves out of hunger, it usually does the worst thing for us. So this is where clients find miracle noodles, or they chew gum all day, and they don't track it. They eat, 6 packs of Tic Tacs a day because it's helping them not be hungry. But it's also
we should be working on the more foundational things, right? Like what, just a beginner, like what would you do to make sure, dear client, that you're not hungry? You're gonna make sure you're getting enough protein in every meal. You're gonna make sure your carbohydrate quality is good. You're gonna make sure you're getting enough sleep. So it is funny how sometimes we just kind of miss the obvious.
Yeah, so you want to focus on those things. Timing can be helpful for hunger. You also don't want to consume just a boatload of fiber either, because that starch is really good for, hunger mitigation as well. Fiber usually takes a couple days for you to actually really break it down and really feel it. And it doesn't really give you that instantaneous energy that you need. So this is why, you were a big proponent of me doing this, where clients start struggling. We do look at food logs, and as I always say, it's more than just macros. Let's look at how you're eating. Let's see if we can maybe position meals a little bit better. Some people just grind through, but we are here to help people through this process. And as I always like to say, almost be the hospice of dieting.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's funny what you said about just grinding through it, because when leptin is increasing, insulin is decreasing, these hormones are impacting the same number of body fat cells. That doesn't change, but with less and less volume. And so there is a widening hunger gap. You have to be prepared to get hungrier and hungrier until your biochemistry changes. And this is where the whole phenomena of the metabolic switch or metabolic positioning matters, where you have to realize there is a sweet spot you get to where now your body is converting as much body fat as possible into energy, into glucose. And if you push too hard, your calories are too low, you're going to suffer immeasurably. If you try to get carbs super low and fat really high, that's going to backfire in many, many ways. We talk about keto versus carbs all the time. So you have to be ready for that seriously hormonally driven hunger, but understand when you do things well, it can almost not affect you. I mean, you can be right on the edge, but it does not have to sink you or be your obsession.
That's why I like longer preps. You push that almost like dimmer switch just a little bit further each time.
Well, this episode is an introduction, everybody, was all about the first thing that happens hormonally in a calorie deficit, which is how you're going to deal with hunger. The next is going to be actual fat loss. So stick with us through episode 2. We'll see you next time in Contest Prep University.